Welcome back to the Triple XP Arcade, the podcast where nerd culture levels up. We're here to press X on all things nerdy, so grab a token, press start, and let's rack up some
Triple XP!
Today in the arcade, we have myself, as always, Drew.
Hey everyone, Alex over here.
And this is Gigs.
On today's episode, we're going to be talking a little bit about some iconic weapons from movies, video games, and TV. There are a lot of different types of media here, and this is by no means a ranked list, so we're not going to be talking about our picks from the worst to the best. We're just going to kind of openly be talking about some of our favorite picks across all three forms of media. Now, to do something a little bit different today, we're going to do a little bit of a roundtable, but we're going to see if we can guess one of the picks from each other's lists. So, we're going to start today with Lex. Now, Lex has a list of weapons that he's selected from these various forms. Miguel, what would you say is one of the weapons that you think would be on Lex's list?
Okay, I feel like this is going to be pretty obvious, but I think Lex definitely has Cloud's Buster Sword on his list.
Ooh, the Buster Sword. I actually had a similar thought as you, Gigs. My thought would have been, gosh, I can't remember the name of it now, but I was thinking Sephiroth's sword from Final Fantasy VII as well. Looks like we went the Final Fantasy route for our picks. Yeah. Lex, can you confirm, are either of those picks on your list?
I can confirm that both of those picks are on my list.
Wonderful. We nailed it.
Nailed it. All right, let's take a few minutes. Let's talk about some of these iconic weapons, of course, from the Final Fantasy series. Lex, let's start with maybe the Buster Sword. Talk to us about the Buster Sword.
I mean, the size of it itself is what drew my initial attention, but it's actually not the original Buster Sword that was on my list. It's actually the Buster Sword from Advent Children that made my list. The movie. Yeah. Yeah, and the reason to that, it's the shape of the original Buster Sword, but the cool thing that I don't think I've seen any other sword weapon do is it fit like another 7 swords into it. So if you guys haven't seen the movie, and apologies for any spoilers, I don't think it's a spoiler, but every time Cloud's fighting, he takes out a sword from his sword and uses it, and then when he loses that, he breaks out another sword from his sword. Like, this is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the Inception sword.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like a Russian nesting doll situation with his swords.
Yeah. I think he doesn't even use the full sword with all the swords in it until like the end of the film.
Yeah, I think so. But I think that sword is it's so cool. I don't think any game before that had a sword that large in general. So it's just very cool to see something that epic in a video game at that point in time there.
Yeah, now that you mention that, I'm surprised that's not in the remake, or like, you know what I mean? It's not in a Final Fantasy VII adjacent.
Yeah, like the PS5 versions, right? Yeah. Yeah, it was only specific to the movie itself there, which was interesting.
So the Advent Children Buster Sword made no appearances in any of the video game canon?
Not the canon, no. I think it was in Super Smash Bros.
Yeah, with the Advent Children costume, right?
Yeah. But in terms of the actual games, I'm gonna go ahead and say no. That I've never seen that specific sword in any of the remakes or side games of Final Fantasy. There.
Yeah, maybe it's in what is it called? Dissidia, maybe. If Cloud had like an alternate costume or something.
Man.
In that game.
I had so much trouble playing that game. Like, I love Final Fantasy, I love fighting, but I could not understand the control scheme of that game.
Yeah, that one was a little strange, and I think part of it too, it being on like a PSP or a PS Vita, was a little hard to access at the time, right?
Yes, yeah.
Good pick, though. Cloud's Buster Sword. I think that is definitely an iconic one that stands out. Not on my list, but I did debate for a little bit adding it on because it's just that kind of associate Final Fantasy, and when you say that, one of the first things I think of is the Buster Sword. Very, very cool. Now, Lex, talk to us a little bit about Sephiroth's sword. Does it have a name?
The Masamune, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Iconic sword name too, yeah.
Now, why is the Masamune? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Now, why is the Masamune on your list for iconic weapons?
It's literally the same reason. It's sheer size. So Cloud's sword had like the width. Yeah. So I know this in the Masamune specs actually. It's a 7-foot sword.
Oh.
Yeah. So again, like when you first see this sword, you're like, that is pretty sick. And like not only that, but the way Sephiroth holds it too when you play Final Fantasy VII for the first time, it's such a menacing stance. Like you just know he's ready to fight, which is pretty sick.
Yeah.
But again, no, it's just the sheer size of it itself. And they hold it true in like so many of the games he shows up in, like in Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy and Super Smash Bros. It's such a menacing length that I don't know how anyone, even like the best, like I don't know how regular humans can wield either of those two weapons in a fight. But when you see them fight with it, it's such a great scene.
Yeah, very cinematic.
They did an awesome job in the 7 remakes where Cloud actually uses a lot of his momentum to swing the sword, because it is essentially a great sword, so it's a big slab of steel, right? And then he uses like his agility to use his body to move the sword, essentially.
Oh, I did not.
That's why it's so gymnastic. In like Cloud's very like you see him like whip around, right? It's like he'll slash with the sword, and then he keeps the weight of it on the ground while he flies around it, and then he picks up the. You know what I mean?
I did not catch that.
Yeah, it's a really nice, cool way of showing how heavy the sword is, and even though Cloud can lift it because he's a soldier, right?
Lex, if you had to cosplay, let me rephrase this. You're not cosplaying as Cloud or Sephiroth, let's say, but if you had to use one of those swords in a cosplay, which one would you go with?
The Buster Sword. The Masamune is too long. It's like I feel like I would actually like poke someone with it. Like it would be like kind of scary to carry around, you know, versus the Buster Sword. Like while it's large, it's wide, shorter than the Masamune.
How much do you think a true Buster Sword would weigh?
Oh, I want to say like 80 pounds. What is it? 45 kilograms?
I think the weight is actually in the game. I think it says the weight. I'm not 100% on that, but I feel like they added the lore of Cloud's weapons. And it's probably, if I were to guess, okay, we're talking, say it's a 3/4 inch thick plate steel. That's what, 5 feet? Is that what we said it was?
It looks to be around 5 feet, yeah.
Okay, so that thing's probably like north of 200 pounds, is my guess. Well, yeah, because you think about steel, like plate steel is super heavy. And if it's 3/4 inch thick, 5 feet long, say 5 or 6 inches wide, that's easily north. Like if you think of like a barbell for doing chest presses at the gym or something, that bar is 45 pounds, right? And that thing is about the length, but it's only 3/4 inch or 1 inch diameter steel bar. So think that, but times 5 or 6.
So we gotta work out a little bit before we put together a full Buster Sword cosplay, is what you're saying.
Definitely.
100%.
All right, good picks. Good picks to start us off. Really iconic weapons from the Final Fantasy series. So I'm really glad, because I didn't put those on my list, I'm really glad that those two swords are on someone's list, because it wouldn't have felt right having this topic without including those two. So really good picks, Lex. Let's go over to Gigs. Now, Gigs, before you say anything, Lex, what would you say is a weapon from movies, video games, or TV that would be on Giggs's list?
I want to say it's the Mega Buster from Mega Man.
Ooh, that's a really good pick. Yeah, I was honestly thinking about that too for Gigs. I actually went with the Samurai Edge from the Resident Evil series. as something that I
Oh.
thought would be on Miguel's pick list. Gigs, can you confirm, are either of those picks, the Mega Buster or the Samurai Edge from Resident Evil, on your list?
Survey says, ding, for Samurai Edge. Yay!
Oh!
Samurai Edge. Nice.
Yes, that's right. The Samurai Edge, not the Mega Buster, unfortunately, but the Samurai Edge is definitely on my list.
All right. Talk to us about the Samurai Edge. Why is this one of the iconic weapons for you?
Okay, so I love the Resident Evil series, and the Samurai Edge is, to me, the iconic weapon of that series. Now, it's only for the STARS members, which is Jill, Chris, Wesker, Barry, and then Rebecca, and some others that I can't seem to recall. But the Samurai Edge is a custom M1911, if I believe.
I think it's a custom Beretta, is it not?
Oh, 93R?
that's right.
A Beretta. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a custom Beretta. And all of the STARS members have their own customized versions of the Beretta. But what I love about it is it's one, the colors, two, the STARS logo that's on it, and three, the just the name. Like, that's such a cool name for a handgun, right?
I gotta say, I really like it when there are these iconic weapons that have names to them. So they're not just a thing, but they have like a proper noun name given to them.
Yeah, it's kind of like naming a pet, right? Some people like to name their pets after food, and like I do, or whatever. But like when you name your sidearm like that, that's, I don't know, I think that's like the coolest thing. It's like naming your vehicle or naming your motorcycle, or you know what I mean? So yeah, naming it the Samurai Edge, even though it's like they all kind of have it, but it's cool to see how they each customize it. And again, it has the slickest look of any handgun in memory, I think. The only one that rivals it is maybe Snake's SOCOM from Metal Gear Solid, but I give it to the Samurai Edge because of the curve on the Beretta. It's like the where the slide is. It's just got that really nice smooth profile, and like that thinness of the because it's a single stack, if I remember correctly. So it's a thinner handgun in general. So it's real sleek. It's like to me, it's like a race car. You know what I mean? Or not a race car, but like the classic sports car with the curves and the nice lines. So that's why the Samurai Edge is up there for me.
And the Samurai Edge is with you from the start. You don't have to go through 50% or 80% of the game to unlock it. It's sort of your best friend that you lean on right from the very start of the game. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so. I think I'm just trying to remember. In the original Resident Evil, I don't believe Chris starts with it, but I'm not 100% on that. I know Jill and Chris start differently, and I believe Jill starts with the handgun, aka the Samurai Edge. But yeah, it's as a starting weapon, it's the coolest. And then, yeah, for me, I always try and play through a whole survival horror game, using the starting weapon. So I typically have that thing on hand the whole game.
Yeah, well, I was just going to say, it's actually really nice because you can play through a Resident Evil game with just the Samurai Edge. So it doesn't there are more powerful things that you can and should get as you go through the game, but if you want to kind of just run through and make it challenging using just the Samurai Edge, it's not like it becomes useless kind of later on in the game, right?
It does make things harder just because when you get, you can only hit one zombie with it, whereas with a shotgun, you can, if there's a couple coming towards you, or it's those frog guys that jump at you, it's harder with the handgun, but it's a lot more fun for the challenge.
Playing in hard mode, right?
I hate it.
Yep.
Not Lex's thing. Lex, if you recall from previous episode, likes things to be a little bit easier, likes going for the investment in the story, not mechanical difficulty, right, Lex?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I played Resident Evil for the first time just last Christmas, but they had DLC content where you can buy guns with unlimited ammo, and I had a much better time playing that game versus the Samurai Edge limited ammo style.
Awesome. All right. So we're going over to me now. I've got a list. Let's start with Higgs. What do you think is a weapon that would be on my list?
Okay, I think we touched on it briefly the last episode, but I definitely think Cap's shield is on your list.
Okay. Lex, what would your guess be?
I was literally just about to say that one as well. Now I'm
You can double up. That's fine.
Yeah. I feel like I'm gonna go ahead and say Iron Man's repulsor cannon.
Ooh,
Another one that I feel like would be on your list.
Smart. Yeah.
Really, really good picks, covering all the bases. You both know I'm sort of a Marvel nerd here. I can confirm that Cap's shield is on my list. I think that was a given. Yeah. Good call. You know me very well. So,
well, Lex knew it too. But he was
trying to. What? No Iron Man cannon on there.
I don't have Iron Man's repulsor cannon on here.
Man.
No.
Okay.
So you were good with your first instinct there.
Over two.
Yeah. No, you had it. You were right. You just kind of covered the bases just in case you didn't want to double up. So very, very fair strategy. But Captain America's shield, definitely on my list for one of the most iconic weapons. This, of course, from movies and video games and comics. So you got a lot of exposure to this shield. Now, I should mention, historically, from the comics to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it is a little bit different between the two. For anyone who is not familiar, Captain America's shield in the comics is made from like an adamantium steel vibranium alloy. And we know what adamantium is from, you might have heard that from, of course, Wolverine. Wolverine's skeleton, his claws, adamantium. We see that a lot in the comics. We see that referenced in the X-Men movies. Now, in the Marvel Cinematic Universe for the movies, we know that Captain America's shield is made solely from vibranium. Now, the reason that they changed that for the Marvel Cinematic Universe is at the time when we were getting introduced to Captain America, Fox owned the rights to Wolverine, the character, X-Men, a lot of other weird things that Fox had exclusive rights to. So the word mutants, adamantium as a material. So in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they couldn't refer to adamantium at the beginning there, which is why they moved it to vibranium. History aside, I think this is a very iconic weapon, really is what it is. This is something that is very lightweight. You see Cap kind of battling hand-to-hand combat. It's very lightweight, but very strong. The intention there is that it's absorbing impact with minimal shock, so he actually can maneuver it really, really easily. Now, the one thing that I kind of prefer the Marvel Cinematic Universe version versus the comics is, as we know, when Captain America throws his shield, we typically see it returning back to him, kind of like a boomerang, I want to say, except it's like ricocheting off of things, and then it returns to Captain America. Now, the canon reason, do either of you know the canon reason why the shield returns back to Captain America?
Ooh, I do not know. Lex, do you know?
Definitely not. I didn't even know it was supposed to be adamantium.
So my guess, if I were to just take a guess, I thought it was just that Cap he's very good with it, that he knows his angles like a billiards player. That would be my only guess.
That is a really good guess. I feel like you just know comic book logic really well. That's correct. Basically.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so basically after he gets the super soldier serum, his increased super soldier reflexes basically allow him to calculate like complex trajectories, determine a proper pathing that allows the shield to return. It has like 100% reflection on kinetic energy. So he can throw it and kind of in a moment's notice calculate all of the reflections and impacts for it to return into his hand. So it is kind of a cool concept. Basically, we're just saying that aside from being big and strong, he's got this kind of increased concept of physics to be able to fight with this shield as well. Kind of cool, but my preference is in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in Avengers Age of Ultron, actually, which we talked about in the last episode. This was the introduction of Captain America's electromagnetic shield return system. I don't know if you both remember the intro to that tech in that movie.
I definitely remember it. It is a very cool scene.
Yeah, so basically Captain America has some sort of electromagnetic gauntlet that he wears, so when he throws the shield, if it doesn't return to him, he can kind of trigger this magnetic burst out of his gauntlet for the shield to come back to him. Very cool, kind of like from a science tech concept. I really liked that part of it, but as we know, that tech was kind of scrapped after Age of Ultron. We didn't see it come back after that. In the new Captain America movies, not a part of the tech or canon for Sam Wilson either, unfortunately. So
I thought that was on purpose, wasn't it? Because of the whole Steve stops trusting technology like that, and that's why he gets rid of it. That's what I thought the answer was.
Oh, you know what? That could be true. It's been a little while since I've seen Age of Ultron, to be honest, but that would check out why he didn't use it. I was actually a little bit disappointed, honestly, in Avengers Endgame / Infinity War, where he had the dual kind of mini arm shields from Wakanda. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I did not like those at all. It didn't feel like his weapon at all.
Yeah, they were kind of lame, to be honest.
Kind of got rid of that iconicness for me. I still like the character, of course, but yeah, a little bit of a downgrade on the weapons for those Avengers movies for sure.
Hold on, I just want to briefly touch on another reason could have been because of Civil War, no? Because I think Tony was the one that came up with that. So when him and Tony get into their tiff in Civil War, maybe he gets rid of it because of that too. I honestly can't remember, but I feel like it's one of those two reasons.
That's fair. I feel like it's kind of too big of a call out because they did kind of showcase it for Avengers Age of Ultron. So maybe too big of a showcase for it to just kind of be swept under the rug. So maybe a rewatch would tell us a little bit more about if it was actually addressed in canon. But yeah, we might have to revisit some of those movies. And I'm always down to revisit some Captain America movies. You know me.
Yeah, well, you know, an Avengers, just like the Avengers movies, would be a fun little marathon. That's like a doable in a day, right? So
doable for sure. All right, let's move back over to Lex. Now, we're not going to do any more guessing games. I think we have an idea of kind of where we're at here. But Lex, what's your next pick for iconic weapons from movies, video games, or TV?
I think my next pick is one you guys wouldn't have guessed. It's from a movie back from 1996. The movie is called Eraser. Have you guys seen that movie?
Oh, like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the railgun in that movie. Yeah, if you guys haven't seen this movie before, essentially this gun can literally shoot through anything and also like X-ray through anything. So like for example, like he's trying to find Arnold's character in the warehouse, and it's literally zooming through and X-raying through like boxes, walls, everything. It can see your exoskeleton, like you're a skeleton. Sorry, it can see anything you're holding, and then when it shoots, it's like a plasma beam that goes through everything to hit your target.
So it's actually like blowing through any objects in the way, so it can go like through walls and stuff.
It's like the ultimate sniper rifle. I mean, this would be like a video clip of what this weapon is because it's on my list because that's literally one of the coolest guns I've ever seen in movies.
I literally just Googled a clip while you were explaining it, and yeah, that thing is so cool.
Yeah, I don't know why it was that movie specifically, but when you guys had mentioned iconic weapons, that one hit one of my top three of like most remembered items or weapons in a movie or video game or anything there.
Did you say it was a rail gun?
That's what they called it in the movie. It was like the eraser railgun.
Oh,
I don't know what the
okay.
exact name was, but they called it a railgun in the movie.
I think a rail gun shoots a slug at super high speeds using magnetic repulsion. You remember Rex from Metal Gear Solid? Or Metal Gear Rex, I guess is.
Yeah, yeah.
It has a rail gun on it. A giant one. The one that's
Oh.
like on its left shoulder or whatever. Yeah. That thing is wicked.
Interesting.
Lex, did Arnold have any cool one-liners when he was using the railgun that you remember?
Oh, I don't. I feel like
Dang.
I should have rewatched this in advance of this episode.
No, I like that though, because when you typically think of the most iconic weapons from movies, honestly, I don't think Eraser comes up in many people's lists. So I'm really glad that got a call out. Very cool for everyone listening. You'll have to Google and watch a little clip of that.
Yeah, you said 1996?
Yeah, it's an old one.
Okay, so that's after Terminator 2, right? I think?
Yeah, I think Terminator 2 would have been, what, 94, 95? Or am I way ahead? Maybe it's 91.
Is this like peak Arnold, like kindergarten cop sort of era?
I think it has to be like the 95 Arnold. I remember he's jacked in the movie for sure.
Okay, yeah. So he's definitely still a huge star at the time.
Yeah.
Yes. This is action Arnold era for sure.
I definitely have to watch it. I love old Arnold movies, man. How do I not know about this? I got to definitely watch it. It kind of gave me Demolition Man vibes when I was watching the clip.
Oh,
yeah.
great movie, Demolition Man. All right.
Honestly, I've watched Demolition Man within the last few years, and yeah, that movie still rocks. It's so good. Sorry.
All right, Gigs, let us know what your next pick for iconic weapon is.
Okay, so I'm going to stick with video games for this one. I think this is my number one favorite weapon. Now, I'd had a hard time with this one. I'm kind of split. It's from the same game. It's two different weapons from the same game, and I'm trying to decide which one is cooler in my eyes. They're both extremely cool, and I'm having such a hard time, so I'm just going to name them both because they're from the same game. Okay, the game is Dead Space, which is the survival horror game that was released on the Xbox 360 with Isaac Clarke on the derelict, what is it called? The USS Ishimura, the planet cracker ship. Now, the weapons in that game, now one thing to know about the weapons, I should say, is the mechanics of defeating monsters in that game is very specific. Have either of you guys played Dead Space before?
I have not.
No, me neither. It looks too scary. No unlimited ammo. I can't.
It's pretty creepy, but it is up there with like the top survival horror games that I've ever played. Now, to defeat the monsters, I believe they're actually called xenomorphs, which is confusing because that's also what they're called in Alien.
Yeah.
No, sorry, I got it wrong. They're called necromorphs. Now, how to defeat a necromorph is you actually have to cut off its limbs. So different types of necromorphs appear in the game. And we'll call it the common one is human-shaped-ish. So it's 2 arms, 2 legs, head. But they're all like clawed appendages like Baraka. And to actually put them down, you have to slice off their limbs. Otherwise, they don't die. So the weapons in Dead Space are specific to do that. So the 2 weapons that I'm talking about are essentially the starter weapon, which is called the plasma cutter, and another weapon that you get later on, which is called the Ripper. Now, the plasma cutter, why that thing is cool is it's very simple, and it's just to use the mechanics of the game in the most satisfying and efficient way possible, which is its two modes are to shoot a line vertically or to shoot a line horizontally, like a pistol. So it shoots a little plasma beam that's, say, 6 inches wide, either completely vertical or completely horizontal. So you have to aim it at, say, the necromorph's shoulders or legs to cut them off. So you shoot a vertical one at their arms, or you shoot a horizontal one at their legs, and you blast off their limbs, and that's how you defeat the monsters. It is extremely satisfying, and when you have the weapon fully upgraded by the end of the game, it's just the most like godlike feeling you have in one of these types of games where you can just shoot things and limbs precisely off. It's like surgery. It's so satisfying.
Does it require you to target the joints? Like, do you have to specifically go for like the shoulder or the hip to target kind of the limb attachment?
You kind of just go for like, it's not the forearm. It's like where your bicep would be between your shoulder and your elbow, or like the thigh of the necromorph. But there's also necromorphs that have tails and stuff, so you shoot off their tails and yada yada.
Okay, so there's some level of precision that's needed to... You can't just kind of go and throw out the plasma bullets anywhere willy-nilly. You kind of have to be a little bit surgical with it.
Yes, exactly. So spray and pray doesn't quite work with that weapon, right? So that's why it's one of the best weapons ever in any video game. But it's the reason I have a hard time with this other weapon is because, again, from the same game, theoretically, it's just ingenious. So on this spaceship, it's a mining vessel, essentially, in space. So the people aboard have construction tools. And one of the construction tools that they have is something called a Ripper. Now, what the Ripper is essentially uses telekinetic energy. So it hovers out a circular saw blade in front of you. So you shoot out it's wicked. It's the concept is so funny. So you shoot out a little 7 to 12 inch circular saw blade a couple feet in front of you, and it's hovering in the air due to telekinesis. Mm-hmm. And then it spins. It's just a circular saw blade that's detached from you, and you just like walk into necromorphs with it and like saw off their limbs. It's so incredibly satisfying. So yeah, that's why. So you're not actually
launching a saw blade out. It's just acting as kind of like a hovering saw that you're using.
The secondary attack mode lets you shoot out a saw blade if you so chose, but the primary function of the weapon is to just hover it in front of you, and it spins, and you just walk into enemies with it. It's muy bueno. Really like it.
Nice.
What's Dead Space on, Migs?
Well, they actually remade it recently on modern consoles. So I played the remake, I guess, last year on the PS5. So it's just the first game, though. The second and third haven't been remade, but everything's on PC. But if you were going to go back and play it on consoles, I believe Dead Space 1, 2, and 3 are all on the Xbox 360.
Gotcha, okay.
Are you thinking of picking up and playing, Lex?
Well, I was going to ask, are there any cheat codes for unlimited?
There is. There absolutely is. And you can. It's like the old school style where you can put it in while you're playing. You know what I mean? It's like directions and buttons.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
Throw in the Konami code in the middle.
Pretty much, yeah. You do it, but it's there's no pausing in the game. So if there's a necromorph coming at you and you're trying to replenish your stasis energy or something like that, or your health, you got to do it quick. Otherwise, it's going to stab you in the face. So,
jeez,
you lost me immediately when he said there's no pausing in the game.
I think it's worth picking up, Lex, for your October horror game series.
Yeah, that's true. True. I might try it for October. I like playing the horror games and movies during October.
Yeah.
But a horror game where you can't pause, I don't know, man. Like,
That added level of stress.
Yeah, it is atmospherically one of the best ones ever. Honest to God, it's like there's not a lot of space horror games that are built the same way, and that one was revolutionary. Not revolutionary, very influential for its time. So highly recommend.
All right. For my next pick for iconic weapons, I wasn't sure if we were going to have a ton from TV. I think TV, in my opinion, has less than you would typically see in video games or movies. So I dipped into the TV well for this one, and my next iconic pick is the Dragon Dagger from the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
oh damn.
Okay, you're just saying that because you had it growing up with the
I
music.
absolutely had it growing up, and it was probably one of the coolest toys. I think I actually still have it in my garage, still in the box, and it's been opened, so I don't know if it's held its value. I think at the time when it came out, I think it was around like $40-ish, which was honestly quite an expensive toy back at that time. But I noticed now, if you can find a good condition one on eBay, for example, these things are going anywhere from $300 to $600.
Holy
Wow.
smokes, really? Wow,
Yeah,
that's intense.
Assuming it's in good condition, they've held its value. For anyone who's not familiar with the Dragon Dagger, this is the Green Ranger's weapon in the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. And this was a dagger that had dual function as a flute. So we would see Tommy, the Green Ranger. He would play a selection of songs from this dagger flute, and he could summon the Dragon Zord, which came out of the ocean and somehow always made it to where they needed to be. But he had some iconic songs or tunes that he would be playing from the Dragon Dagger, and he would also use the same tunes to initiate attacks from the Dragon Sword. So he's basically controlling, whereas the other Power Rangers, when they're in their Zords, they're actually in it, piloting the Zord, kind of like a airplane or a spaceship or whatever. But the Green Ranger would just kind of pilot the Dragon Zord based off of the flute, and it's debatable, but he would also like stand on a cliff and tell it what to do, like yell at it. So a little bit of like a weird, how does that work? Because when we're talking about the scale of Zords, these things are, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of feet tall. And, Tommy the Green Ranger's just 6 feet tall, standing on a cliff, yelling at this giant robot to do stuff. So the science on that one's a little bit debatable, but nonetheless, the Dragon Dagger, very, very cool weapon. It was a little bit disappointing that it eventually lost its power in Power Rangers storyline. Spoilers ahead. Tommy eventually loses the Green Ranger power, and then he gains his White Ranger power, and he goes over to having a Tiger Zord, a white tiger, and then he gets a new sword called Saba. I don't know if either of you remember that, but it was his White Ranger sword, and it talked. It had a little tiger head at the hilt, and it talked. So I was like, a little bit less cool, I think, than the overall aura, as the kids say, of the Dragon Dagger. But I will always have the tune of the Dragon Dagger.
Sing that tune.
What tune is that? What's the tune? Well, I don't know what you're talking about.
So there was the summoning tune. So he would play this multiple times, and everyone will have to forgive me for being off key here, but it kind of went like do 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 do. So is that familiar?
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah.
That was it.
And then it comes out, and then it does its thing. And then I specifically remember when he wanted it to launch his finger missiles, he would pull out the dagger again, and he would do the do 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 do, and then he would launch some fingered missiles out there. So it was very cool to have that toy when I was a kid.
The tunes you played, I remember so well.
Yep.
Oh, so good.
Oh man, I gotta say, when we were kids, I was jealous of that because that thing was awesome.
Very cool. We will dust it off in the garage and maybe put it on a social post so everyone can see what we're talking about. All right, Lex, let's go back over to you. What is your next pick?
My next pick is actually my number one favorite weapon.
Ooh.
It is...
What?
See, like, this is like a spoiler alert, but not really a spoiler alert. It's Samus's Hyper Beam from Metroid.
Oh.
Yeah,
wow.
Specifically Metroid Dread.
This is your number one pick of all time?
Yeah. I don't recommend Googling it because it's like a spoiler alert for the finale of Metroid Dread, but it's by far my favorite weapon of all time. Easily. I guess the best way to not spoil it is in Super Smash Bros. Samus's final smash is that crazy like Kamehameha wave.
Yeah.
That's the Hyper Beam.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's...
Yeah, it's like
so
an upgrade, right?
I can't get into it without spoiling it. Yeah.
Okay, that is fair.
Yeah, it's part of her canon. And it's just the epicness of it is so unreal. Like Super Metroid is not like the Hyper Beam exists in all the Metroids, I should say. So if we go back to Super Metroid from SNES, when Samus gets her Hyper Beam, it's still like a standard like laser on the SNES, but the strength of it, you can see like when you're fighting like the boss, they actually get knocked back aggressively with it versus all your other beams. It's just like, your standard hits, nothing happens. So it's just like, it's also, it has like a history to it from all the Metroid games too. So it keeps building upon it, and you're almost expecting it in each Metroid game.
Wow. Is this Hyper Beam in the original Metroid on the NES also?
I never beat that one because that one was too hard.
I don't believe it is.
No. I know for sure.
I'm trying to remember. I definitely played. I think it was called Metroid. I think it was just called Metroid on the Game Boy Advance, right? I think they remade it for the Game Boy Advance. If I remember
Zero
correctly.
Mission.
No, Zero Mission was.
That would be the remake of the original one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it is Zero Mission. I'm thinking of, because there was two. There was Fusion and I guess Zero Mission.
Yeah,
so
Fusion's it was the newest one in the series up until Metroid Dread came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't believe it was in Zero Mission. So I could be wrong because it has been like 20 years, but I don't think it was in there.
I think that's on Nintendo Switch, like through their online app. I might replay it now that I think about it.
You should replay all the Metroids because that is a great journey. All of the Metroids.
It is, yeah. Dread culminated everything together. Like even at the beginning of Dread, it tells you the story of all the other ones because it's like the next episode of like the 2D Metroid games.
Well, it sounds to me, Lex, that you have to start by going back and trying to beat the original Metroid on the NES to start, right?
It's like a hard game. There's no cheats. There's no save points. Oh man, that's just so many of my pet peeves.
Yeah, that's good. This is back to the beat it in one sitting kind of era. No saves there, but all right. Back over to you, Gigs. What is your next pick for iconic weapons?
Now this is getting tough. I have a lot on my list, and I'm trying to decide what comes next. But I feel like we haven't had a lot of anime representation, so I'm going to go with anime on this one.
Nice.
It is the Scissor Blade from Kill la Kill.
Ooh.
I don't know if either of you have watched that anime, but it is very good and very weird.
I've heard vaguely about it, and I've not seen anything of it. Is the Scissor Blade one of the main character's weapons?
Yeah, so the story revolves around two characters. There's spoilers in it, so I won't really mention too much. But one of the characters, her name is Ryoka, I think, something like that. And the show in general has a very clothing. Clothing is a big theme of the show in general. Textiles, clothing, stuff like that. So one of her weapons is literally one half of a pair of large scissors. So think of taking a large pair of scissors, taking out the pin in the middle, and using one of those as a sword. So it's got a blade on one side, the handle and hilt is the circular part where your finger would go through, but it's, the size of a normal blade, sword of any kind. So thematically, it's just cool because it's, I don't know, I always liked the idea of oversized normal objects as weapons, and that's kind of like one of the really cool ones, in my opinion.
You'd recommend this anime to watch, Gigs?
Oh, 100%. It's one of those, it's made by, I think it's Mappa. I think that's what they're called now, or I don't remember the history, but it's the same studio that did Gurren Lagann and
Gesundheit,
a more recent one. Yeah, exactly. And the Cyberpunk Edge Runners anime. So it's the same studio, a lot of the same art style and animation as those. It's kind of in the mid 2000s, I believe, is when it came out. Very, very good. I highly recommend it. It's very funny, and the action scenes are wicked, and yeah, it's a really good anime. It's like it's not one of the ones that has a lot of episodes, so you can watch the one season that exists, and then you're good to go. Now, I just want to say, just briefly, the one that was kind of also in the same vein, I almost put on the list, was Faust from Guilty Gear. His weapon is a giant scalpel. So same sort of idea, but the half a scissor is cooler in my opinion. So
if I had known that the theme was oversized regular items, Gigs, I would have.
Yeah, there's so many.
Episode idea?
Just oversized things.
Let's look around our offices, pick a thing, imagine it being 6 feet tall. Would that make a cool weapon or not?
Dibs on paperclip.
Oh man, you got some themes right there. You could bend it into different things,
right? Now the only problem is I can't have it be 200 pounds like a Buster Sword. Otherwise, I'm basically just laying on the ground beside it.
but what if you were as strong as Steve Rogers?
Ooh, if I was as strong as Steve Rogers, I can probably guarantee I wouldn't be using an oversized paperclip.
That is a very good
balance that we have to play, right? If I'm strong enough to lift it, I will probably opt for another type of weapon.
Totally understandable.
All right, so for my next pick, I want to say maybe an untraditional route for weapon. I consider this a weapon. I think most people would, but there might be some people that don't. So my next pick is the blue shell from Mario Kart. I think this is widely regarded as one of the most, if not the most hated item in Mario Kart. So a lot of us have played Mario Kart in some capacity. So in case you don't know, the blue shell, when you get it, you just throw it and it will target the person in first place. And they're getting hit real hard with the blue shell. Now, whether you're throwing it from second place or last place, it hits the person in first place no matter what. Technically, there is some ways that you can dodge this. In the more recent ones, I think you can use the noise box. The little, I don't know, is that what it's called, Lex?
Ooh.
The horn item?
Super horn.
The super
horn, yeah.
Technically, that can prevent it from hitting you. My understanding is that if you time a mushroom boost at the right time, you can dodge it just before it slams into you. But honestly, I don't know anyone that has those kinds of reactions. So when you see that coming from behind you, you're going from first place to like 16th place. guaranteed.
Oh yeah.
And it always seems to hit me just before I cross the finish line. And so that's one of the reasons why I think this is just the biggest headache item in Mario Kart. So very iconic. Everyone knows blue shell you associate with Mario Kart. Lex, is the blue shell in anything else other than maybe Smash Brothers?
I don't think so, but isn't the official name Spiny Shell? People call it the blue shell, but I thought it was the official name was the Spiny Shell for that one.
Spiny Shell. I stand corrected. The Spiny
Is that
Shell.
actually
I thought it's
true?
fun. I don't know. I just remember this was a while back, but the official name was the Spiny Shell, but people refer to it as the blue shell. But in the Super Mario Bros. Movie, when the Koopa Troopa turned into the blue shell, he said blue shell, not spiny shell. So I don't know which one's legit, because that's an officially made Nintendo movie where they.
Oh, wait, we're talking about the recent one, not the 1999 one with John Leguizamo and.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, that is the one we're talking about.
It's the official 2022, 23 movie. What year was that one? But yeah, the animated one that just came out recently.
Oh yeah. Sorry, that's what I'm talking. I was saying you're not talking about like the 1991 one.
No, definitely not that one.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
But no, I don't think it was in any other game. Like, it's not in any other Mario game that I remember.
I'm trying to think, there's not really any items so much in like other like sports Mario games, right? I don't think there is.
There's items like in Mario Strikers, like the soccer one. They have like items on the field, but I don't know if there was a blue shell in that one.
That's very interesting. Spiny shell, hey? I think the reason why people call it a blue shell is because it makes sense when you talk about the green shell and the red shell, right?
Yeah, I don't like the name Spiny Shell for reference. I still will forever call it the blue shell. I just remember there was like official news saying it's actually called the Spiny Shell, not the blue shell.
Well, here at the Triple XP arcade, we're retconning it. It's the blue shell in this arcade, at least when we talk about it moving forward.
I think public opinion wins in this case, right?
Yeah.
If everybody calls it a blue shell, it's a blue shell. You know what I mean? If it looks like a blue shell, talks like a blue shell, smells like a blue shell, or whatever, it's a blue shell.
Yeah.
Now, actually, I have a question. I feel like one of you guys might know the answer to this, because I don't know. But say you're in first place and you know that a blue shell is coming. If you smash your brake and drop to like second or third, does the blue shell change targets, or is it still you?
It changes sometimes, not all the time. I think it depends on how fast you get back into second or how close it is. But I know it's changed because there's been times where I would brake and it would go for the person who just passed me, or there would be times where I broke and it still hits me. I'm like, what? Yeah, right.
See, I feel like every time I've tried, it hits me, but then at the same time, I'm usually very close to someone else, so I don't know if it hit me or the person beside me. You know what I mean?
It's very timing based, I find. So the worst case scenario is you're in a tight race, you're in first place, you see it coming, you slam on the brakes, you drop to fifth place, and then you still get hit with the blue shell. That has happened to me. That is an official thing that's happened in the game. So one of the most frustrating things, for sure.
So my technique is whenever I see a blue shell coming, I don't brake hard for people to pass me. I brake just enough to match speed with the person in second and just coast alongside them. So
it hits both of you regardless.
if I'm not winning, second player isn't winning for sure.
That's everyone will learn to know as we grow the podcast and more episodes, but that is a very Lex kind of strategy. I feel like take out whoever's next to you.
Yeah, there's some points where it's not about winning for him. It's to cause as much havoc as possible.
Right? Some people just want to see the world burn.
Exactly.
All right. We have a lot more, I think, on our list. So I'd like to transition us to maybe a speed round. maybe we'll just kind of we'll do a round circle. So we'll go Lex, Gigs, and then me. And then let's just kind of like throw out some quick ones here. So we don't need to go too deep into the reasons why, but maybe just call out one of your picks, and then you can give us kind of like a quick little something, and then we'll speed round it. Okay.
All right. Okay.
So let's go over to Lex again. So give us your next pick, Lex.
RoboCop's gun. I don't know if I can.
Yeah,
nice. So you don't even have to explain that one. It's just you say that and you know exactly what it is.
Yep. That honestly, that's on my list right now too. I was gonna say that.
Really? You guys both have it?
Yep.
Wow.
Can't go wrong with RoboCop's gun.
Are you guys talking about like just the gun, or also the fact that it goes into his thigh?
Well, I feel like that kind of has to go hand in hand. The fact that it's an oversized, specifically modified for that movie, but the fact that he can holster it in his thigh is one of the things for me that makes it even cooler versus if he just had to holster it on his hip or something, you know?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because that scene, you know, when like the first time you see it where he takes it out, that's cool, man.
So cool. All right, Gigs, what's your next pick?
Okay, mine is the almighty folding chair. That's right. From wrestling. Yep. I think that thing is hilarious and is the de facto weapon of wrestling, in my opinion.
Yes.
I mean, the fact that every character in like anime or fighting games or whatever has a folding chair if they're like into wrestling, speaks volumes. That thing rocks. It's got 2 handles. It's nice weight, nice sound. Folding chair, baby.
I actually love the fact that you've called out the folding chair. As Jim Ross would say, the great equalizer in wrestling.
Yeah. Like that is the most iconic wrestling weapon, right? I don't 100%. Think anybody can argue that, right? So
yeah,
there you 100%. Go. Folding chair, baby.
All right. My next pick is the custom-made Hattori Hanzo katana sword from Kill Bill.
Oh, that's a good one. I didn't even think
that's a long name.
Wow.
That one is obviously the one that Uma Thurman uses across both movies. Custom-made for her specifically. Hattori Hanzo had a whole sort of lore to this sword. He said it was the best samurai sword ever made. And she shreds with it in both of those movies. So I gotta say, just a very, very cool movie weapon. And I would love to have a relic or a replica one of that hanging on the wall somewhere in the house. Just very, very cool.
That'd be cool.
Is there any defining visual characteristic of it? I haven't seen Kill Bill 2, so Volume 2, so pardon me.
The most defining characteristics are on the hilt, and they just have the same colors that Uma Thurman is wearing in the first movie. So that black and yellow kind of Bruce Lee reference jumpsuit, that's totally the color of the handle and the hilt. So I think it was kind of like a call out to say that it was made specifically for her, so they kind of go hand in hand together. All right, Lex, what's your next one?
The Dusk or Twilight Bow from Zelda Twilight Princess.
Oh, okay.
One, but it's cool just because it shoots light arrows. So if you play Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, when you get that bow, that's the only arrow that has no drop. So it's essentially like shots. So I use it against like those flying like dragons because I know I don't have to consider drop in my shot. It's like it'll go exactly where I'm pointing.
Yeah.
Plus, in like Smash Bros, when Zelda uses it as her final smash, I don't know. It's so cool.
Wait! Did you say that's in Breath of the Wild?
Yes. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
You have to unlock it. The way I unlocked it was via amiibo. Like when you tap one of the Zelda amiibo, it comes up in a chest, and you can use it.
Does it have durability?
It sure does.
Yeah, okay. That's what I'm just curious. Mostly out of curiosity. I didn't know that was in the game. I need to, when I replay it, I am finding that thing.
Yeah. Like it was also like it was from Twilight Princess when Zelda used it. but I thought just the design of it was very cool as well.
I'm going to be honest, Lex. I thought at the very start you were going to say something from the Twilight movies, and I was like...
That's what I thought, too.
I was immediately trying to rack my brain to be like, did anyone use any sort of weapons in the Twilight movies?
Diamond skin.
Robert Pattinson used his smoldering looks, didn't he?
Yeah, he used his sparkle to entrance the ladies. Or the lady, I guess.
I think that was actually just a lack of iron. He had anemia in the whole movie, I think.
Which feels weird, because he was a vampire. So, I feel like...
Oh, yeah. Actually, that's a great point.
That's maybe one of the only things he shouldn't have had as a vampire.
Yeah. What? Something's not adding up.
All right, Gigs, what's your next speed round pick?
Okay, I'm going back to video games on this one. I think you guys are both going to like this one, too. It is the Lancer from Gears of War.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That one was on my list, too.
Was it? Yes.
Yeah.
The chainsaw assault rifle. That thing was the coolest weapon, man.
Really put a different spin on melee attacks. It was so satisfying.
Was that on purpose? Different spin? Was that on purpose?
It was not on purpose. No, but having the spin on the melee where you can, like, where you go up and you chainsaw, and that actually adjusted how we were playing multiplayer, because now, instead of being in a gunfight, you're like, oh, I'm gonna sneak up on someone and use the chainsaw because it's so satisfying.
Yeah, it was uber tilting to get chainsawed, though.
Yes.
You remember? Oh, man. Especially if they're just running at you while holding down the chainsaw button and you're shooting them and they still manage to kill you. Oh,
and worst case scenario, when you hit the reload sort of mini game system where you have to target the reload. Yeah, that was very stress inducing for sure. All right, my next speed round pick is Ebony and Ivory, Dante's pistols from Devil May Cry.
Oh,
wow! Yeah. What kind of handguns are those? Are those magnums?
So those are not, I think, based off of like real models. I think those were custom made. I think there's some lore about how they were custom made from, I don't know, magic and stuff, whatever, for Dante. I know that the Ebony, which was the darker one, was built for longer range engagements, and then Ivory was kind of like the quick draw, rapid firing one. So just very cool weapons, because you get those ones from the start with Dante, and you can do like air combos, and there was never a concept of having to reload or like get more ammo. It was just fully stocked, hold the trigger down, and run through the game. And so I think those ones were a big part, I think, why the Devil May Cry games were really fun, just as like a button mashing action game. cool weapons.
Nice. Oh man, yeah. I thought they were like Desert Eagles or something. I just remember in what was it, MVC3 with Dante, whenever he does one of his supers, he does like the rapid fire juggle with them, and well, the sprite is small, so I assumed they were Desert Eagles, but I didn't know that they were custom. That's really cool.
Yeah. All right, Lex, speed round. What's your next one?
It is the Elder Wand from Harry Potter.
Oh,
Every time I pick up anything that resembles a wand, I do that to my wife, and then she just walks away.
Death spell? The most intense spell that they have is the one that you do to your wife.
His voice, in the way he holds it above his head with his like fingers all out. I have a lot of fun with it, but I thought that's one of my most iconic weapons. I thought the history to it when they revealed like how it was made, where it's from. I thought that was a really cool thing about the Harry Potter universe.
That had really cool lore. Like the background as to the origins or the overall story towards the Elder Wand. Very, very cool. Yeah. I like that pick.
Yeah.
How early would they have developed the lore for the wand, because I never finished the Harry Potter books or movies. So
I don't think they developed the lore up until Deathly Hallows Part 1.
okay,
Yeah.
So like
because
the very end.
I think I remember in the first book they kind of just briefly touched on that Harry's wand was the same feather or something as Ralph Fiennes' character, Voldemort. I don't know why.
Say it, Gigs.
Yeah, what the
Well,
heck?
I
What are
can't
you
say
doing?
Ralph.
No,
Ralph.
you gotta cut
I
this
guess you
out.
can. Yeah, you can call him Ralph, I guess, but otherwise, he who shall not be named.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, I might. I don't think I'm going to be on the next episode, guys. You might have to tell my
Don't do
wife what happened. Be sure to
We'll
tell her who exactly killed me, though. With full name, them, please.
We'll have Lex cast a protection spell on you. You'll be good.
Oh, Abracadabra!
No, that's not the right one, Lex. That's literally the opposite of what you need to do.
I just like the way he says it. It's just a funny
Yeah.
way.
So spot on, to be honest with you. All right, Gigs, keep us moving with your rapid fire pick.
Okay, I think my next rapid fire pick is going to be Gambit's playing cards.
Oh,
I think
That's
that
cool.
is the coolest way to use that power. You know, if I'm gonna throw
100%.
something like playing cards, man, that is iconic. One of my favorite things when I was a kid was reading this one comic during one of the Shi'ar saga type things, where Gambit hits. He uses an entire deck to blast away. I can't remember his name. Not Mr. Fantastic. Something like that. The Sentry or something like that. He uses a whole deck of cards, bends it like he's shuffling it, and just blasts them with a whole deck. And it is the coolest thing when you're like 8 years old.
Gambit was so cool. I wanted to be Gambit for sure. I think anytime we played when we were kids, I always wanted to be Gambit.
Yep, he was definitely the coolest X-Man, minus maybe Wolverine. Like,
Yeah.
I don't even... He had... What do the kids say? Aura? He had aura,
Yeah, aura.
right?
Yeah. All right. Keeping it moving with my next rapid fire pick. We might spend a minute or two on this one. This pick is from the movie The Wizard. I'm going with the Nintendo Power Glove. Now, this is...
As a... Okay.
Like the iconically worst weapon? Or
Is it considered a weapon?
I would say that in context, Lucas Barton, the top gamer, that was his weapon of choice in being so good at the Nintendo games he was playing. So if you haven't seen the movie, this is a dangerous banger movie for sure. But in this movie, you have a bunch of kids that are basically going to a video game tournament, Nintendo tournament, I should say, playing some Nintendo games. And then there's the bad guy, Lucas Barton. He's kind of like the top gamer that everyone's trying to beat. They go to his house. He's decked out on all this Nintendo stuff. He's rocking the Power Glove. The classic quote, as we all know, "It's so bad," which was good in the 80s, right? But yeah, that was his weapon of choice. That's my argument. Is he used the Power Glove kind of exclusively on his own, and he was the best player that everyone looked up to. I actually tried playing with a Power Glove at some point afterwards, and it was unplayable. It was so difficult and wonky to use that I would actually make the argument that it was more impressive to me that Lucas was using the Power Glove to be good at games when I had a hard time beating the first level of Mario using the Power Glove. So that's his weapon of choice, and I'm sticking to it. One of the top iconic movie weapons for me.
So the Power Glove itself is a dangerous banger then, eh?
Yes, if you haven't used the Power Glove before, I do not recommend trying it. But if you want to battle with technology and get frustrated with what you expect it to do versus how it actually functions, yeah, give it a try. Give yourself a good headache one weekend. just to
I
say
think
that you've tried it.
I think that would be a pretty cool display item, though, right? Like if you had a gamer case, you'd have a power glove, the super scope.
That'd be pretty cool.
I think that would be really cool.
Definitely.
Especially in like the Infinity Gauntlet sort of like, pose where it's like coming up. That would be so cool, right?
I know we still have a few more on our list, so let's just run through them. No description or explanation needed, but I just want to make sure that we at least get to say all of the ones that are on our list, all right? So we'll go super speed round. Lex, what's another one on yours?
A Pokeball.
Oh my, that's so smart. I can't believe that never occurred to me.
Yeah, really smart. Love that pick. Gigs, over to you.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Charge Blade from Monster Hunter. It is the sword the sword and shield that turns into a big axe. It's very cool. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm going to go with the energy sword from the Halo video games.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice.
Lex, back over to you.
Ryu's Hadouken.
Oh, classic.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be Ryu, but the Hadouken in general is a pretty cool weapon.
I like that. Kind of like think outside of the box weapons, right? I like that.
So, it's a projectile weapon, right? Totally.
Yeah, totally. All right, Gigs?
Okay, mine's going back to Jackie Chan movies in general. I think a shirt, apparently, is a really cool weapon.
Your choices are questionable.
They're great, though.
A shirt in the hands of Jackie Chan, it will decimate anybody, apparently.
That is true.
That thing is awesome.
That's, I love that. That 100% accurate, for sure. I'm going to go with, I feel like it just wouldn't feel right if I didn't call it out. I'm going to go with the Darth Maul dual lightsaber from Episode 1, Phantom Menace.
Yeah.
I don't think we can talk about iconic weapons without at least calling a lightsaber, but the dual lightsaber, definitely, in my opinion, one of the coolest ones that we saw in the movies.
Yeah. I know we were trying to I feel like the lightsaber was like, everybody knows about the lightsaber, but that is definitely the coolest type of lightsaber, right?
Yeah. All right, Lex, you have another one?
Mine is Wolverine's claws, specifically.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That was one of mine, too.
Yeah. Classic. I had a feeling it was going to be on someone's list. I have that as one of my honorable mentions, but I'm glad someone called it out. Wolverine's claws, really definitely. Good pick. Gigs, over to you.
Mine's just a type of weapon in general. I really like the glaive. I think it's my favorite weapon in fantasy games, D&D, tabletop RPGs, high fantasy things, blah blah blah. The glaive, very cool.
Nice. One of the ones that I had was, we talked a little bit about this already, but the Infinity Gauntlet from Marvel movies, from the comic books. Just an insanely cool idea for a weapon. And the fact that there has to be some level of effort to basically assemble it. Very, very cool. I would love to have an Infinity Gauntlet next to my Nintendo Power Glove.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
All right, Lex?
The Master Sword from Zelda.
Yeah, I was wondering if anyone was going to call that out.
That's a
I figured Lex would call it out because that's
iconic. Another iconic, historic. It has history to it, like the Elder Wand. Just everything about it's very cool.
Very nice, very nice.
Yeah, good pick. All right, Miguel?
Mine's just the baseball bat.
Classic.
Just, it's the classic horror movie weapon. Ness has it in Earthbound. It's in everything. Everybody runs to the bat as their go-to weapon, I feel like.
Assuming there's no folding chairs around.
Oh, of course, yeah. I mean, folding chairs got two handles. You win in that fight, so...
So, Migs, if you were sitting in a folding chair with a bat and a shirt, would you be unstoppable?
Well, I'm not Jackie Chan, so I would probably just end up hurting myself with the shirt.
All right, let's do one final round. So pick whichever one you want to make sure that you call out before we close it out. I'm going with I don't know if you guys will remember this. I'm going with the Zapper from the old cartoon Captain N, the Game Master.
Oh my goodness! Yes,
Do you
what
remember
you're
that?
talking.
I don't remember
Yep.
that at all.
Captain N was like a comic or a TV show. I had a comic of it.
It was a TV show. The main character got sucked into, I think it's called Videoland, and he had a Nintendo controller on his belt that let him kind of go in and out of the real world. He had a Nintendo zapper that he used, and in Videoland, he used this to destroy the enemies there. And the villain, like each episode, he would go into a different video game. So he would go into like a Punch-Out world, and King Hippo was kind of the villain he had to defeat. We had Dr. Wily in there. We had Donkey Kong was there. There was a lot of different Nintendo IPs in that show, and I have not seen it since I was a kid, so I'm worried about going back and seeing if it's actually pretty terrible, but I remember at that time one of the coolest concepts of a cartoon that I could think of.
Yeah, he used literally the Nintendo zapper in a holster, right? As one of his weapons. That's what you're talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So cool. All right, Lex, your final pick.
Final pick is a ship. And I was torn between which ship I wanted, but I'm going to go with the R-Wing from Star Fox.
Oh.
Very nice, yeah.
Iconic. I don't think we can get away from talking about games or weapons and not having you bring a Star Fox reference in here. So I'm very glad that you picked that. Wonderful, wonderful pick. All right, Gigs, your last pick.
Okay, I'm going to go real outside of the box here. I'm going movies. I'm going with Loki's mask from The Mask.
From The Mask. Oh my gosh.
That's a good one.
So good.
Right?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
I loved how it kind of changes based off of who's wearing it, right?
Exactly. When Dorian wears it, he's like creepy and scary. The character design for Dorian when he has the mask is amazing.
So good.
Oh man, great movie. Still holds up.
Really,
I feel
really.
like. Yeah. Could be a dangerous banger. Not sure, but
no, I watched that literally 2 weeks ago. It's still so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
that's one that you would think is a dangerous banger because it's so like campy when it came out, but I think it holds up. That's just a great movie in general, I would say.
Okay, I'm gonna have to watch it again with the wife. So excellent.
Yeah, she will love that. She'll be in for that movie for sure. All right, folks, that's a wrap for us this week on the Triple XP Arcade. We always love hanging out with you in the party, so please leave a comment below and let us know what your favorite iconic weapon from movies, video games, or TV is. And be sure to follow us on socials so you don't miss a drop with new episode releases every Friday. Until then, game on, stay nerdy, and remember, you always level up faster at the Triple XP Arcade.